Welcome back to Sadie Makes. I'm Sadie, and today we're continuing on with the Christmas sweater we started last week. I went ahead and did the round of double crochet clusters on all of them. I have all of them right here. And we are going to continue on with the green. And while I do that, I just wanted to talk about the types of crochet projects that I'm drawn to. You'll notice I haven't made a lot of decor items or heating pads, or not heating pads, like hot pads for pans or whatever. I'm obviously very interested in clothing items. I can't remember if I talked about this last week, but the draw about crochet to me, the clothing wearable aspect, I do like functional crafting, but I especially like wearing the crochet items that I make. I think that is just, I've always been drawn to fashion design. I don't know what it is about clothes that have always interested me, or expressing your creativity through clothing that you wear, but that is something that has always been a big draw for me, and I really like that. It's just different. I feel like different people have different interests, and mine just happens to be fashion, and that's really cool too. I think for me, I've lived in places where fashion isn't necessarily the interest of the areas. I've lived in more small towns, lots of suburbs mostly. And so you don't see people just putting together outfits on the streets, and you're not getting inspired as much by what people are wearing on the street. But I don't know, that's never bothered me. I've lived in a very digital era, so that's fine. It's still fun to wear an outfit, put an outfit together. And I think people in my area, where I've lived, have done that to their own extent. You don't have to be putting together New York Fashion Week outfit to show your creativity through fashion and what you're wearing. It can be as simple as just jeans and a t-shirt. I think that says something still about who you are, and you're expressing that bit of yourself. It doesn't have to be anything crazy to, express how you're feeling in the moment. Okay, now that I've got two sides, you'll see that I'm making the square bit of the granny square. I really like how it's turning out. I will definitely link this tutorial. I think she's done a really good job, and I'm really excited. This will look really cute across the front. I wanted to maybe put up a couple photos to remind you of what we're going for. So we're going for granny squares across the bust area, and then we'll do either double crochet or double crochet clusters to create a striped sweater. And yes, I've got a giant pimple coming in. I get very I've always gotten more hormonal acne, and so they're always big and painful. So that's what I'm dealing with this week. Probably means I'm PMSing or something like that. So I'm going to continue on with the crochet granny square. And I love looking at Pinterest and finding crochet projects on there. I like making it my own, just like this project. I'll see different things, I'm like, okay, how can I make that for what I want in this moment? Like, I wanted a Christmas sweater, so I'm like, okay, color is a great way to incorporate like seasonal into a project, like winter colors are different than autumn colors. So if I'm making an autumn cardigan or sweater, I'm going to choose more like autumnal colors. So that is one way that I make it into a certain like season instead of just following exactly how the pattern or pattern testers have done a design. And I like being able to recreate. I think that helps me design my own things. Like, you know, you have to, in art, you really have to mimic in order to create your own, especially when you first start. And like, I'm not selling these to anyone, so it is okay to mimic. I'm not trying to pass it off as my own. I feel like the count for this is off. 1, 2, square. Yeah, something is off on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I do have 12. Maybe I should be doing 3 in between. Let me double check the video. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm doing it right, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. So like I said, Pinterest is a big inspiration. Instagram. Trying to think of what I was like inspired by before that, because I even remember in like younger grades, TV must have been a big one for me. Because I remember like in the 4th grade, I really was into like the DC chunky like skater shoes, and I would wear like jeans and a skirt, and then like an Under Armour like thermal like what was it, like a turtleneck mock neck that I used to wear to soccer. Like, I had always just my own interpretations of fashion that I was interested in. And just, I think I just, for me, I'm like, I like to observe my surroundings. I'm observant. When I go into new situations, I really like kind of like sussing things out first. And then when I kind of get my bearings, then I'm like, okay, this is how I want to, go about things. And I think I do that with fashion and design as well. Even in like creating YouTube videos, I am like kind of seeing what other people are doing and mimicking the things that I want to introduce in my style. And that's just how my style evolves over time. And I think that's true for lots of people. Like, I don't think I have invented that in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think that's just what lots of artists do, and I've really taken that into my own. Okay, so there's 3 spots, and I've been only using 2. Oh, okay. I can see where I accidentally went into a cluster here, so I will frog it back to that spot. Okay, I was like, this is just not quite right. Okay, that is all a cluster. Okay. Yeah, so nothing I'm doing is revolutionary by any means. My first memory of being inspired drawing was in about the 3rd grade. I had this little chapter book of this girl who was a shapeshifter, and I have not been able to find it anywhere. I've looked this up many times, and I've yet to find this book that really inspired me and that I remember really well. And I will say the design style was kind of like almost, it was cartoonish and almost like anime, I would say. Like the way the eyes and stuff were drawn. I remember it was like the eyes were like arches almost, and then there'd be like almost an arch where like the cheek would be. And I started noticing that in the style, and I started mimicking that. And we were set to do what's it called, like a portrait, self portraits in class, and I had been kind of working on this style, and I had done like a cartoon self portrait with my eyes like that, and all the kids in class were like, that doesn't look like you, that doesn't look like you. And I was like, well, yeah, like it's an interpretation of what you look like. And the teacher wasn't mad about it in any way. She wasn't like, I wasn't trying to be different. That's just how I was, like, I felt like I liked drawing. And I think that is what got me into, she then set me up to be tested to get into an art program. And I think that's what, like, she probably started to notice, because it was very evident compared to most of the class who took the prompt and, did football shaped eyes. And, you can see that difference in interpretation right away. And I wasn't expecting it to be noticed in any way. Like, it's cool when things get noticed, but yeah, I remember being really influenced by that book, and I thought it was really cool. Illustration, I feel like, can be a big inspiration even for fiber arts. You can look at color palettes or like the kind of whimsy they're incorporating into their designs. Yeah, it doesn't have to just be fiber art to fiber art. I think when you're crossing into different mediums, that's like a really good way to be inspired. Doing graphic design by day, I definitely think inspires my fiber arts. And I think in the other video, hopefully it's in there because I was having microphone troubles, but I talked about getting motivation and getting inspiration from different mediums. And I definitely think having my hobbies and my like day job being a little bit different helps me, like, it's like a cycle of motivation and inspiration. I find a new graphic design technique, and that, maybe, or colors that I like, or fonts, and like, I think that inspires the colors maybe I use in fiber arts. So here is the granny square. I think there's another layer of white after this. But we're going to be doing all the other reds here in this same design. And I really like it. I think that'll be really cute across the front here. I'll be weaving in the ends, so it won't have this annoying thing. But yeah, looks really good. Just got to do that 9 more times. Next thing I wanted to talk about was just like crafting fails. I showed you guys that like slip dress I had made to go to a friend's wedding, and I think it turned out well. It looked good, but I would still say it was pretty much a fail. Um, I had just done too tight and it was very like restricting of a seam on the sides, and so it just did not drape that great. I got some good shots of it. I love the fabric. I think I have more, so we'll see. Maybe I'll try and make it again. I've still got the pattern printed out. That I felt like was a big fail. It was still wearable. It's so cute. Like, I don't think everyone was very complimentary, but it just, yeah, felt like a big fail to me at the time. Oh, another fail I had was I made these cute little gingham seersucker pants, and the seersucker fabric was not very heavyweight. It was quite lightweight. And I was like, oh, that'll be great for like a little summer pant. And I self drafted these pants. So I took some pants that I had and pretty much used that as a template and made them myself. And at the very beginning of my sewing journey, the second one. The first one, I didn't really make stuff in high school. It just made a couple things and it just wasn't working out. But anyways, I made these pants and I took them on a family vacation to the Oregon coast, and that was kind of cold. Probably was not the most weather appropriate pants since they were so lightweight. But I think I'd worn them here where the weather's a bit warmer too. But I had worn them for the first time on this family trip, and they had ripped within like the first couple of hours of wearing them, and it was so disappointing. And I was in public, so I was luckily it was like down the side here, but it just was like, ooh, face palm. You don't want to like wear something that's literally falling apart. Luckily, I think really only my family noticed, and they're not going to judge, like, it not working out. But I swear I can do a better job. I think I learned a lot from that, though. I was like, all right, yeah, you can't make bottoms out of really lightweight fabric. And now I know. Now I know. Sucks, but, that's what happens. That's a warning for anyone trying to learn how to sew. Don't make like linen pants out of very, very light linen fabric or cotton. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't really have, I just feel like everything's like a learning experience. It's hard to like be like, that was a fail. Oh, the other sweater I made was a complete fail. Like, that's like the only thing I've ever completely frogged that I just was like, this is completely unwearable. I used a ton of yarn, and yeah, I need to restart. I need to completely pull this apart. So this sweater was my first time making a top-down raglan, and I really like the Lines brand, like the Woolies thick and quick chunky yarn. That's what I made most of the beanies out of. It works up super quickly, which when you're learning is important. You don't want to get lose motivation because it's taking so long. You need some little wins in order to learn a new craft, I think. So I tried to make the raglan top, and I made the entire thing. Made the entire sweatshirt. There was some frogging here or there, but I think in the end, the chunky yarn just was so bulky. It might look better in like a chunky cardigan, way. And maybe with a different stitch, something that's a little bit more, has more drape, and maybe a bigger crochet hook, because I'm sure I just used the size it suggested on the label. So probably a hook that was bigger to create more holes. But when you first create your first sweater, you don't want like a big holy and chunky sweater. So I didn't take these things into consideration. But you see the way I'm talking about it, I'm like, okay, now I know a bigger hook would have helped with drape. Now I know this and this and that. Like, there was a lot of things when I first started that I didn't realize. Like, I just thought it was the yarn. Second one done. like it's not just the yarn. You can use a different hook. You can use a different stitch to create drape. And that was something I was actually glad to learn, because you don't want to, like, I don't want to be using lace weight or like really small yarn every time I'm creating like garments. Like, sometimes I like a chunky look. Sometimes I don't want to spend half a year to make a sweater, like I think maybe knitting is faster. I don't know. I feel like I've been contemplating for a long time learning how to knit, now that I feel like I've got a good grasp on crochet. But I feel like people knit so fast. I'm like, I'm not like a slow crocheter, but sweaters and stuff take me a long time. Maybe we'll see with this one. Maybe this one's really fast and I just knock it out of the park so quickly and in time for Christmas. But I don't feel like it's a skill level thing. I feel like knit might be faster than crochet, but we will see. And if you know, let me know in the comments, because I am very stumped by it. Is it faster than crochet, and why? Is it just because people actually follow patterns? That might be part of it, because I hardly ever follow patterns, but I am very stumped by that. But yeah, maybe you'll see some learning how to knit stuff. If you're interested in that, let me know. Have you had any big fails when you've been creating, and what were they? I would love to know. If I get some good comments, I could like share everyone's crafting fails. I feel like that would be really funny. And this ball came with a freaking knot in it. But I think I'm about to wrap this up anyways. And I'll finish these and we'll come back hopefully with a bit more progress done. I wanted to give a quick update and let you know that I have finished all of the granny squares and have started to weave in their ends. I think I have like 3 of them done. So we still could finish the sweater by Christmas, but you will have to wait until the next video to see. I hope you have a happy holidays. I hope you get to spend it with family or friends or whoever makes you feel loved. I'm definitely going to be doing that. And thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. If like you know any crafty people, share with them. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you.